My guest today is a multipotentialite who made a 20-year commitment to a specific job or career. In her case, it was the United States Air Force, so a bit different from something that a lot of us do, but still a pretty substantial commitment. She's here to talk to us about what that was like, the variety therein, and in particular, the things that she's up to now as she has transitioned out of the Air Force and into the next phase of her career and her life. Ellerie Fuller is with me today, another friend I know to a lot of us here, and I'm really excited to introduce her to some of our listeners and viewers who may not know her story. Ellerie, just early last year, retired after 20 years in the United States Air Force, and we talk about how that has been quite a transition. You can imagine doing something for so long, and now you've got a whole world of opportunities ahead of you and things you can do. For multipotentialites, it's like, wow, where do we even begin? There's so many ideas. For Ellerie, it's been a fun journey of discovering some interests and finding time to discover new things. But also there was something really pulling at her for at least the last couple of years of her military career. And that was in being a mentor and guiding other female service members in the armed forces to help them with that transition of service into civilian life. And her story is kind of interesting, too, because it was a bit of a blend of civilian jobs connected to the defense, but also some active service in the Air Force, too. So she really knows what that's like to go from something you've done for so long that's so structured and regimented, too. And now you go into whatever it is you're going to do next in that whole rest of your life. And a lot of people, as she talks about, they're retiring, basically. They've put in their years of service in their late 30s, their early 40s. Some people could be younger, but you know, in other words, hopefully you've got quite a lot of time ahead of you to do these other things. So quite a substantial transition. And that's what's really drawn her to the coaching that she's developing. It's called Courageous Whisper Coaching. Let's take off and learn all about it. Okay, everybody, welcome back. This is the Multipod, and I'm very excited to be joined by a brand new guest to the Multipod. Her first time here. Ellerie is with me today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Hey.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into your story. Now, this is it's fun on the show. We often have people that I know a lot of our listeners and viewers kind of know already because, you know, we're in a lot of same communities and stuff like that. So you, if you're listening and watching this, there's a good chance you know Ellerie. If you don't, then this is a great chance to get to know her and hear her story. And that's what we're here for, to kind of discover your journey through multipotentiality and the many exciting and interesting twists and turns that your life has taken in your career. And I know that's something that pretty much everybody watching will kind of resonate with because we all do the same kind of journey all over the place. That's part of the fun of it. So we'll get to that, and we'll also get to what you're up to now and some of the ways that people can connect with you too. But for now, well, where are you talking to us from?
Right now, I'm talking to you from North Carolina, Carolina Beach, North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. How long have you been there?
We moved here at the beginning of August, so about 3 or 4 months now. We've decided to come try out the beach.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What brought you there to that place or that beach specifically?
So we were living in Baltimore, and we had away from our traditional 9-to-5 jobs back in December of 2023, and Baltimore didn't have a community for us. And so we were trying to figure out where to go next, and New Orleans was on the list, and Knoxville, Tennessee was on the list, and a couple of different places. And then Jonas, my partner, is close friends with Trav Perry, and he came down here to visit to do a podcasting.
Oh yeah,
some podcasting content, and he came home and was like, "Hey, you want to move to the beach?" I said, yeah. Let's do it. And so that's how we ended up here. Interestingly enough. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. Travis, another good friend of most of us. So you'll know who we're talking about, Travis Sherry. So, I mean, at this point, is moving kind of old hat for you?
Yes, absolutely. I was just telling somebody that I am in my 38th home in 44 years.
Wow.
So, yes, moving has become a kind of a way of life. And
Mm.
my mother, my mother said to me one time, when are you just going to put down roots? And I said, this is your fault. She said, excuse me? And I said, yeah, we moved around. They were young parents. And so as they were
Hmm.
pursuing greater career opportunities and building their own life as
Yeah.
young adults, I learned, right? They took me with them, thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Hmm.
And so yeah, we moved all over the place, and they always made it exciting, and we
Okay.
always had like new adventures. And even though times
Hmm.
were tough, as they were trying to improve over and over again,
Yeah.
they always made it seem like an adventure. And so
Hmm.
that has stuck with me, and I don't know that I'll ever set down roots. I think roots
Oh,
are
interesting.
wherever I am.
Right. So
Yeah.
do you genuinely feel any call to settle down, or is it very much a kind of spontaneous lifestyle, I suppose?
Yeah, it's a bit of a spontaneous
Huh.
lifestyle. I definitely yearn for some stability here and there. And I think that's why, like, living someplace for a while where you get to know the community and you get to
Yeah.
build some consistency and meet beautiful people for a while,
Yeah.
and spend time there, is you get to know like the spirit of a place. And
Hmm.
then as you move to your next location, you get to bring that spirit with you. And so it changes you along the way. But I don't plan to stop moving.
Okay. The moves, were they dictated by career choices, or did you move and then pursue jobs and careers and kind of things to do? Which decision came first over the
Yeah.
years?
So my parents' lifestyle and their jobs dictated it in my early years.
Yeah.
And obviously financial situations. We did a lot of living with extended family or grandparents, and we were very blessed to have the support, right, to do that.
Hmm.
So we kind of were this nomadic pack, if you will. But then I went away to college in Boston.
Okay.
So I went to Simmons College in Boston and got to hang out there for 4 years and pursued some journalism and some communications, graphic design,
Yeah.
worked for a small production company out there.
Hmm.
Fun fact, I got to interview the Rockettes. And so I
Okay.
got to interview the newest Rocket, and this is way back in 2001, and the oldest Rocket,
Yeah.
um, who were still performing. So it was
Okay.
really neat to meet the oldest and the youngest. That was one really cool thing I got to do when I was in college. Yeah.
So
And
you say you study journalism?
I did. I did. I studied journalism.
And when you did that, was it like, were you thinking this is what I'm going to do for my life
Hmm.
indefinitely kind of thing? Or, just maybe short term or see where it goes?
People's stories fascinate me. And
Yeah.
I found that journalism was a way that I could satisfy that need, and bring like stories to the world.
Hmm.
And so I thought maybe for a minute that was going to be my path.
Hmm.
And then 9/11 happened.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did a story with one of the fire departments down in New York City during that
Wow.
time. Um, Almost got published in the Boston Globe. um, but it was really eye opening and really, really impactful. And then, so yes, I really enjoyed the change
Hmm.
that you could make and the impact that you could have in bringing like inspirational stories out
Yeah.
there.
Hmm.
I think had I not joined the military shortly after 9/11,
Hmm.
I probably would have taken that path.
Well, it's a career that has a lot of variety. You can
Mm,
pursue it in different ways.
yeah.
No two jobs would be the same. So that's something that would appeal to multi-potentialites.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you changed path completely. And did you go straight from that into the military or other things in between?
Yeah, I did. I took a year off of college. So I was in college at the time, and then I took a year off of college without telling anybody, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
Um, and yeah, and decided that I was going to join the Air Force Reserves. I tried to join the Navy when I was 17, and my mother was like, absolutely not. And I was like, oh, well, all right, I guess I'm going to college. So I was going to do that or be a ski instructor.
Okay.
Neither one of those things turned out. But so I decided to join the Air Force Reserves because then I
Hmm.
could have what I wanted, but also my voice was still in the back of my head,
Yeah.
and still pursue like a civilian career, if you will. So
Hmm.
I wanted to be a pilot,
Hmm.
but they told me that I was too short, fat, and blind. So I could only fix two of those things, and that didn't work out. So instead of flying them, I chose to fix them.
Oh,
And I
okay.
became an aircraft mechanic for 17 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Had you been interested in like engineering and stuff like that before?
Nope. Had you told my high school me that I was going to be an aircraft mechanic, I would have fallen on the floor,
Wow.
laughed my butt off. Hmm.
It
So
seems
yeah.
like a very kind of challenging, intricate thing to learn or do. Is that the case, especially for, Air Force
Hmm.
aircraft? Like,
Hmm.
what was the learning curve like?
Yeah, that was pretty intense. There's always boot camp.
Yeah.
So then you go from boot camp and straight into, I was stationed in Pensacola, Florida for 6 months to learn how to fix an aircraft. And that was wild.
In what way?
I like just being able to touch and crawl around and be an intimate
Hmm.
part of this like crazy machine
Yeah.
that does all these wild things. And my aircraft was the C-5, which is the largest cargo aircraft in the Air Force's inventory.
Hmm.
So if you think about it, you can fit an entire helicopter into its belly.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
Huh.
giant. So yes, the learning curve was quite steep.
And did you just work on that aircraft?
So I worked on that aircraft, yeah, for
Yeah.
17 years. I was able
Okay.
to get my hands on, a C-130 or a C-17
Hmm.
here and there, but it was mostly heavies. Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Hmm.
Huh. And then what about the culture of, well, the military and the Air Force specifically? Like, I would find that a little intimidating. I mean,
Hmm.
especially as a woman, but even in general, just that military culture. Like,
Hmm.
is that hard to integrate into or get used to?
I think structure
Hmm.
amidst like it was something that I yearned for because the rest of my life was always there was so much movement happening and there was always something new. So having a structure is something my mother always built into my life.
Hmm.
And I always said that she missed her calling as a drill instructor. So, um,
Hmm.
so no, I really wanted to be part of something bigger. I really,
Hmm.
since I was 4 or 5 years old, had always loved fighter jets and flight and the
Okay.
thought of the military. But yeah, being a woman
Hmm.
and walking into a very male dominated field
Hmm.
was it was challenging. There were a lot of boundaries that I had to learn, a lot of self-respect. I had my struggles,
Yeah.
um, but I eventually pulled through that and ended up in leadership
Hmm.
and I had probably 6 or 7 different positions through my military career that taught me so
Hmm.
many different skills.
Oh,
So
yeah.
many different skills. Yeah.
Wow. And
Hmm.
like the whole time, did you have a sense of how long you might be doing it? How many years?
Funny that you say that. I walked into the recruiter's office
Hmm.
and I told him that he did not need to give me his spiel because I was in for 20 and just let me sign the paper.
Okay. What's the
And it,
spiel?
the spiel is like,
You're
the
making a
Air
commitment?
Force can, right? Oh, this is bigger than you, and you'll get
Yeah.
all of these benefits, and you'll be part of, you know, the uniform and the hoorah, And I told him, I said, listen, I already know all that.
Mm.
I want in, I want to do this, and I'm in for 20, and I spent 21 years
Yeah.
in the military.
Wow. Huh.
Yep.
So, were there moments along that long journey that you ever thought maybe I'm ready for a change before I get to 20 years, especially, having different interests and things you might want to do? Or was it hard to make that commitment?
No.
Hmm.
There were times, many times, especially, you know, when life's,
Yeah.
and, there were some times where I struggled really hard and, needed somebody to kind of pull me up by my bootstraps and go like, hey, what are you doing?
Hmm.
During those times, there were moments where I was like, maybe this isn't where I should be. But the yearning to my first commitment to myself
Yeah.
was so much stronger than that. And it was almost this sense of like, no, don't let this defeat you.
Hmm.
You made this commitment to yourself, and it's the only commitment you've ever made solely for yourself. So don't
That's interesting.
let those struggles let you quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so pulled through the struggles and did the 21. And, I did a mix of, I was 5 years of active duty.
Hmm.
And the rest of my career was reserve duty, which is a whole different beast.
When you're in reserves, are you still like working full time, just not on active duty?
Yes.
Okay.
So I had a civilian job.
Uh,
So when I was active, right? I was doing my military job full time. And then when you come off of active duty, you move into a reserve status, which is the 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year.
okay. Yeah.
So I had a civilian career in parallel to that, and that was with the Department of Defense.
Okay.
So I worked with the Department of Defense in quality assurance and
Hmm.
continuous process improvement. And then I moved into leadership there.
Hmm.
So did some leadership in the military and moved into a leadership position with the DoD. And I did that in parallel with my military career for 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that sounds like some good variety right there,
Yeah.
I would think. Yeah. And then you're not kind of doing, I pictured you doing essentially the same job for 20 years, but there's a lot of changes in variety. Yeah.
I did. I did aircraft mechanics. I ran my shop.
Yeah.
Then I moved into continuous improvement, quality assurance. I became a first sergeant
Hmm.
at a medical unit, actually. I moved out of my maintenance world into a medical world
Hmm.
and was responsible for like the welfare of my enlisted crew, and reported their kind of health, wealth, and, morale, if you will, to my commander during that time. And then once I stepped away from that position, I went back to my maintenance squadron, but I did that in like a what's called a flight chief's position. So I had control of like three different shops. So my sheet metal shop, the metals technology shop, and the non-destructive inspection shop.
Okay.
So lots of
Yeah.
mechanical, right?
Right.
Lots of mechanical background there.
Hmm.
But during that time, I think what really kept me in was I loved people.
Yeah.
And so I
Hmm.
got to be a mentor and I got to be a leader and I got to have all of those really human centered conversations
Yeah.
that solidified the commitment to being there. Because I saw, especially when young women would come into the maintenance world,
Mm.
I really wanted to make sure that they were coached well, that they were mentored, that they knew that they had support in that world, and so that really showed me
Hmm.
a piece of my life's purpose.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Well, we'll come back to that because I know that'll lead up to a lot of what you're doing now. I
Hmm.
guess what else? I'm curious, like, did you feel you had much time or freedom to pursue other hobbies and interests while you were in the military? Like, did you feel you could tap into that part of your brain basically and your personality too?
Yes, somewhat.
Mm.
Not as much, not as much as I would have liked to. But some of the things that I did get to experience were I traveled to
Mm.
all over Europe during that time.
Nice.
Um, some with the military and some out on the civilian side. And so I gained a sense of like independence and solo travel.
Yeah.
And while I was in, it gave me the confidence to do that. And then I also started going after some of my degrees. So
Mm.
I had some training in like human relations,
Hmm.
and I ended up with an associate's in aviation maintenance. And so I was able to like just continue to take classes and things that
Mm.
helped me out. I got into Toastmasters,
Oh,
so
really?
some public speaking, and I got to do
Cool.
some competitions, like public speaking competitions out
Hmm.
in the community, which was a lot of fun. And I do love to motivationally speak. I found that out during that time, and that's
Neat.
one of the things that I've brought into this newest chapter with me too, is to really hook back into that
Yeah. Hmm.
and give back that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, neat.
Mm.
So when did you leave the military then? It's fairly recent, right?
Yeah, February of 2024.
Right.
So we're going on almost 2 years
Almost
now.
2 years already.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like coming to the end? Like, was it kind of bittersweet? Were you excited?
I,
Sad?
yeah, all of the above. Gosh,
Yeah.
it was very anticlimactic
Mm.
in that it was a bit bittersweet. I had chosen to move my career down to Baltimore, and so I left the aircraft world that I was in Massachusetts,
Mm.
and I got to augment the Army at the end. And so I had a kind of a new team, and so when I left, I didn't really know my team
Mm.
as well as I knew my old world. And I was a individual augmentee, which just means like I was kind of a team of one at that point.
Mm.
So my leaving was bittersweet in that sense, but I was very ready. I was very ready. It was like
Yeah.
time for the new chapter. I was like, oh my God, all right, let the new people, let the younger generation
Mm.
take these reins. Yeah.
What did you do first? There must have been like a last day, I guess, and then
Yeah.
when you first, the first day when you're not in that job and that career anymore,
Hmm.
what'd you do? Did you just kind of relax, I guess, or were you excited to jump into the next thing?
I was excited. Yeah, I left both my Department of Defense and my military job at the same time. So
Yeah.
I was leaving two teams.
Okay.
Um, and I think I probably slept for like 3 days.
Yeah.
I was in
Hmm.
the like classified world in the DoD, and so there was a lot of like mental vigilance that had to occur
Mm.
during those years, and my team was all over the country,
Hmm.
and so I did a lot of traveling, and there was long days. And so between that and my military career, once I stepped away from both of them at the same time, there was this kind of like pause of like, oh, what do I do with my hands?
Oh.
And but then just this crash,
Mm.
this ultimate like, whoa. I think I like slept. But once I was done with that, like it was like I was ready. I had also during that time in 2021, Jonas and I started, and our business partner Bo started our hospitality business.
Right.
So I also am an owner of a hospitality business that we've been running for 6 years.
Yeah.
So it was time to jump full time into that.
Hmm.
And then I
Which
was
is
able
largely
to,
Airbnbs, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yep, short term rentals. We do some consulting.
Yeah.
There's a finger off of Single Seed Stays, which is Beacon STR.
Hmm.
And so we do offer some consulting. Now that we've been doing it for a little while, we wanted to
Yeah.
offer that knowledge back out there. And then it was also time to use my VA benefits, my GI Bill benefits. And so
Hmm.
I went back to school
Right.
immediately after I retired and went back and I got my master's in positive psychology, knowing like what I learned from the military and that leadership and that mentorship and the guidance and the people's stories and all of
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff that was so fascinating to me.
Hmm.
I found this program where it was like, oh, it's
Hmm.
like, this is a thing. Please sign me up. So that was my next adventure.
Cool. And I think you just
Mhm.
finished it, right? The master's?
I did. I
Yeah.
graduated in June,
In June. Nice.
um, and have been building out Courageous Whisper Coaching,
Hmm.
which is my coaching business, the name of my coaching business.
Yeah.
And
Well, let's talk about that. So who do you
yeah,
want to coach? Who are you targeting?
yeah, yeah. My ultimate goal is to help female veterans
Hmm.
transition into their next chapters with like clarity and courage.
Yeah.
One of the things I recognized myself is that after many years of conditioning and being in such a structured realm,
Mm.
that that blank page is really overwhelming or
Oh, yeah.
can be really overwhelming. And there's all these ideas, this other side of you, right, that is yearning to blossom and come out. And so helping women do that and easing that transition
Hmm.
so that the excitement can be there and the joy and the helping them get into like a yes I can mentality is really what I'm hoping to accomplish
Hmm.
in this next chapter. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you've got the contacts and the network
Hmm.
to find people.
Yeah.
Are you looking for people that are still in the military and getting close to the end, or
Hmm.
is it as much people who are already out and then I maybe lost or just trying to figure out what to do next?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you already have an idea of what you want your next chapter to look like, or you're out there floundering going, what am I doing?
Yeah.
somebody grab my hand. I that both, right? The courageous whisper piece of it is, if you are getting close to your separation date but you have an idea, right? And you have this desire
Mm.
and it's sitting there, right? It's whispering at you. It's like, hey,
Okay.
come invite me in. That's where that
That's the
courageous
whisper.
whisper. That's the
Yeah, neat.
whisper, yeah. And you just need a little courage to get there. Like, I'm
Hmm.
here to be your cheerleader. I'm here to be your ally.
And regardless what people are interested in, like it's not necessarily business focused. Like if they want to start a business, is it?
No,
Okay.
it's whatever they want their next chapter to look like, really getting clear on what that is.
Right. Hmm.
Building confidence
Yeah.
is a big piece of it. And then if I don't know or don't have the best path forward, right? At least I have a network of people
Sure.
that I can present to you that may be a better fit. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's positive psychology based.
Yeah.
So a lot of mindset shift,
Mm.
um, defining what you want it to look like. So going through some visioning,
Mm.
how to bust your inner critic out of the way so that you can get to a point where you're
Yeah.
confident enough to take the step.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, what's the age range, I suppose? Because are you an exception, or is that kind of the rule normally that people say they get into military kind of early mid 20s? So if they do the 20 years, obviously they're mid 40s. Point being that, hey, you've got whatever, 15, 20 years kind of thing to
Hmm.
pursue the next phase of your life. Is that the standard, the typical age range that you come across?
Yeah. So, I mean, women join the military anywhere between 17 and like 21 is like probably
Okay.
your typical age range. And so by the time if you do decide to stay in,
Right.
you're hitting retirement anywhere between like 38 and 42. And if you're active duty, like
Yeah.
you're actually retired.
Yeah. Well, let
um,
me ask you too. Like, is the
yeah.
is the 20 years an arbitrary number, or is that a firm thing? I don't know about what the military works in that. Like, are you expected to do 20 years, and then you have to get out, or you can choose to stay longer, or you could leave earlier, or
Yeah. So
yeah.
the way that it works is you sign a contract, and that's
Okay.
anywhere. I don't know if they do 2-year contracts anymore, but it's typically somewhere between 4 to 8 years or 2 to 6 years were the options that I had. And so my first enlistment, if you will,
Hmm.
um, was 6 years long.
Hmm.
So I did three of those. So if you want to retire,
Right.
20 is a hard number, but
Okay.
there's shorter contracts that you can do and serve honorably and then get out. So if you're 18 and you only want to do 4 years, you're now at
Yeah.
22 and off to the next chapter. So
Hmm.
typically, I would fall or coach somewhere between that like 37 and 45 range is
Okay.
probably where I'll see most of my clients, hopefully. But
Hmm.
I am totally open to younger women who
Hmm.
have served and are looking at that next chapter and
Yeah.
getting back into some of that mentorship and guidance piece. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a bit about how your coaching structured. Do you aim for one-on-one, or is it group sessions? And
Hmm.
what's the commitment maybe on their part?
Sure. Well, I always do a 30 to 90 minute like discovery call to make sure that I'm
Hmm.
going to be the best fit for you.
Yeah.
So that is always the way that I start. We can go out to coffee. We can,
Hmm.
get on Zoom. However you best like to communicate. I'm open to those forms of communication and just get to know each other. And then if we decide that it's going to be a good fit, then I offer, the one-on-one. Right now, I'm focused on one-on-one coaching sessions.
Hmm.
I typically like to do 12 sessions with you
Okay.
so that it gives us a good amount of time to really dive into
Yeah.
um, what's lighting you up, what your past successes are, your strengths, how you can use those moving forward, and get a good solid grasp of where we're going
Mm.
and if we want to walk together doing it. So the one-on-one sessions start with 12 and then reassess from there.
Mhm.
I'm also, since I'm just getting started, I'm also building out a couple of workshops and a
Okay.
group coaching offering
Mhm.
so that hopefully by mid 2026 I'll be able to offer that group coaching session to really enhance community for female veterans to be able to support each other, have a pack, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, if you will, and just know that since people are so dynamic
Mm.
and once you get out of the military, our dreams and desires can go in like 1,000 different ways. But if you have a place to come back to and call home and get support, that is something that I'd like to make sure
Hmm.
is being offered
Yeah.
through the group coaching and
Okay.
community structure. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, what's we're talking here is late 2025, but I mean, people could be listening to this anytime. And I always encourage people, if
Hmm.
you're listening to this or any episode and it's like 6 months later or something, we really try to make our guests and their stories and their offers and so on as evergreen as possible, right? So people don't feel like it's too late to
Hmm.
kind of reach out and make that contact. So, what's the best way people can get a hold of you?
Yeah. So either via my social media, which is Courageous Whisper
Hmm.
Coaching on Instagram, message through there, or courageouswhisper@gmail.com is my website,
Yeah.
or Ellerie Fuller on LinkedIn. So those three places are probably the best way to get a hold of me. And then yeah, if I mean, I'm always open to a personal phone call. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to include my phone number in the notes,
Sure.
I'd be more than happy to provide that. And I'd like to keep my the variety of communication options open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's it. We really encourage people to reach out, and if what Ellerie's offering really speaks to you, then don't hesitate. I mean, send that message. It's about, and I have to say, it's about more than likes and shares, which is nice. But let's actually go deeper and send actual messages and emails or phone calls, whatever it may be, and really make those contacts. So that's what I encourage people to do here on the show. Maybe the last question or area is, well, so we're talking a lot about multipotentiality and that whole concept. Is that something you've been aware of maybe your whole life, like in a different name or just as a feeling, but like reflecting on your life to this point, does that kind of fit the bill of who you are, and that I'm impressed that you can make a commitment to the military for 20 years, because that's something that a lot of multi-potentialites would struggle to do, I think. So that is impressive, but I do recognize there's a lot of variety in that. But at any rate, I mean, what does multi-potentiality mean to you, maybe?
Yeah. Thank you for introducing me to this and
Yeah.
having me on to tell my story, because it does resonate with me. I do love variety.
Yeah.
And when I think of multi-potentialites, you don't have to just pick one thing,
That's it.
right? You can be
That's the
interested in so
catchphrase.
many things. Yeah. And move through life just consistently learning and being curious.
Yeah.
So we're not always the same person. We grow and we learn and we become, and it's chapter after chapter. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, it really does speak to the essence of who I've been and who I'd like to continue to be. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are there any other interests or, curiosities that you feel that you can pursue now, or that you've gotten into maybe lately? Completely unrelated to like anything you've
Yeah.
ever done. Yeah.
So, like, one of the things that I wrote down earlier is like, I love a good bonfire beer and some good company, and and then animals, like anything to do with animals. I'm so excited to just go out and volunteer at local
Yeah.
animal shelters, and I've been trying to figure out how I can give back in partnership as well. And so somatic dancing and move those types of
Oh, yeah.
things is something that I've really started looking into. And then I always love mentorship and a good conversation. So,
Yeah.
um,
Nice.
but yeah, so many things. Oh, okay, wait. It's bonfires, beers, and skiing.
Oh, skiing. Okay.
Yeah, bonfire, beers, and skiing. So, if I were to have my best day,
We should definitely come up here. There's some nice ski hills in Quebec.
I know. I've been to Mont Saint Anne.
Yeah. Yeah. In Quebec
Yeah,
City. Yeah.
and when I was in high school, we
Okay.
went up there a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, it's been great. It's nice to get to know more of your story and share it with the audience. And very inspiring to hear how you're helping people. And I really hope it connects with the people who need it, the people who you can connect with. So,
Yeah, me too. And thank you for doing this, for doing
yeah,
what you do and putting people's stories out there. It's awesome.
it's fun. Yeah, it's very satisfying. Great. Well, thanks very much.
All right.
Thanks again to Ellerie for being here. Again, Courageous Whisper Coaching is the name. You can find her on Instagram, LinkedIn, and we have the email address in the notes here as well. It's very important, meaningful work, and if what she's offering speaks to you, really reaches to something that you need, don't hesitate at all to send her a message, to reach out, and just say hello. Again, that's what the Multipod is here for. It's for making those meaningful connections. And also another reminder, too, that whenever you happen to be listening or watching this episode, it could be right when it comes out, or it could be like 4 or 6 months or longer from now. That's okay. You can still reach out to those guests, whether it's Ellerie or anyone else. Time passes, but they're still there, and I'm sure they would still love to hear from you and make that introduction, maybe reconnect, right? If it's someone that you know but you haven't talked to for a while. It's all about encouraging those connections and conversations. So what the Multipod is here for, learning about new people, maybe discovering more about people that we already kind of know, but we get to know a little bit more of their story. Ellerie's probably a good example of that. So it was great to have her here and share that story. And I'd love to hear from more of you. Of course, don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you're interested in coming on the show, share some of your interests, your hobbies, things you'd like to connect with other people about. If you do have a business or an offer, you're more than welcome to bring that in as well and share how you'd like to connect people, how you're helping people. But you don't have to have a business by any means. It's very much just multi-potentialites finding each other, learning more about each other, and making those connections. So share the episode. You know how it goes. Share and like and tell other people. This is really it. It's about if you know someone whose story fits with what the guest has to offer. Ellerie here is a great example. So if it's not yourself, if you know somebody, family, friends, whoever it is, that's coming out of the military, maybe they just have, or they're getting close to that, right? And Ellerie would be a perfect person to at least make that contact with, then they'll feel it out. They'll see if it makes sense to work together, but to make those introductions. So again, it's spreading that net and building our network, building those connections, and helping each other out. This is what we're here for. Great to have you here, and we'll be back again in a couple of weeks with another new episode. Thanks very much, everybody.